I mean, you can just turn everything off for now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a great question. She said, "Be there soon." You texted right as you okay. I'm gonna call it a approval of minutes. Can I get a second? All right.
No, I can't second. So can I second still?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Any objections? Awesome. Okay. Cool. All right. Now we're gonna move to regular agenda. So, first, approve the students' assembly agenda. So, oh, do I need to send that to you all? Probably.
You guys get finance.
The gamers.
I don't know if we
Yeah.
received it.
There was a typo. The total added up to 7,000, so we just changed it to 900.
Oh, so that would just be a friendly. Okay. Yeah, no, we can. Sam, can you see if that was? I thought it was correct on the original bill.
What, the agenda? Or the assembly agenda?
You can grab either. Also, do we want to screen share to like the YouTube?
Oh, sure. Screen share this.
Probably not. That looks like your email.
Okay. All right. I'll just,
Yeah, let's just wait until we find the agenda here.
oh, well, I'm gonna have to go on my email then. But
It should be on Teams. If we go into Teams,
is there Teams on this computer?
there should be. Damn.
No.
It says we could do the web version.
Okay. Yeah. This is like some weird neutral. Oh, this is your Teams, Riley. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I need to post the students' assembly agenda?
Yeah, if you could just open it in another tab.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, looks like it's the same.
This is the students' assembly agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Or
Right.
wait, I have
Point.
some amendments to make.
Oh, you do?
Also, I think we need to approve the minutes of our last meeting. ahead of
We
that.
already did that.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
LOL. All right. I just wanted to motion to amend to add to the regular agenda, the election of University Senate representatives and the election of one new representative to StudEx.
Any objections? Cool. All
Can I
right.
get a second?
Can I get a second?
Awesome.
Cool. Okay. And that's friendly, I guess, and it
Yeah.
passes. Cool.
Amendment passed.
And Nathaniel will write that down, and then that'll be,
You got it?
we'll amend it later, I guess. in office. Okay, cool. Um,
What about the-
oh, yes.
Oh, they didn't pass it in rights. Yeah, they tabled all of the legislation in rights.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll discuss that in the interim agenda status conversation that we'll have at like the end of the meeting here. Huh? Unfortunately not, because we can't do it without rights' support for a constitutional amendment. However, it is still going to be in effect, but we'll talk about that in the interim status here. Like the legislation won't be postponed at all. Yeah.
Okay, yes, on to B, so finance room change and legislative calendar updates. So finance room change, we're gonna go to Alderson back for the rest of the semester. Is everybody cool with that?
Motion to
make a
approve.
Motion to
Second.
approve. Second, any objections? Okay, awesome. So we're gonna do that. Finance will be in Alderson for the rest of the semester, as it should be. Okay, secondly, legislative calendar updates. Do we want to go over that? Talk
Yes.
about that.
So on the legislative calendar, unfortunately, our cycle 7 students assembly meeting was placed on the 2nd of December instead of the 7th of December, which would make it a Friday meeting. And so I'm looking to just amend the legislative calendar to make it to the 7th of December. So, yeah, second.
Cool. All in favor? Any opposition? All right, great, we're good.
No
Okay.
opposition.
Now, legislative calendar updates. Finally, we're never doing this Friday meeting again. How does StudEx on, sorry, we just scheduling things. Okay, StudEx on Mondays, like around 4:30. Is that good for everybody? Should we do 4? Abdullah said
Okay.
4:30, but like, I don't know, a lot of people, Abdullah's on here, so, okay. That's the only person. So, all right, let's just do 4 then. From now on, it'll be Mondays at 4. I'm gonna
So-
get that changed.
4 o'clock to 5.
Yeah, it'll be 4 to 5. So we will never
All right.
have this Friday meeting again.
I'll second that motion.
Cool. Okay. Any objections? Awesome. Okay. Interim agenda status conversation. Let's see, take that away.
All right. So in the Constitution, StudEx has the ability to create an interim agenda. And Sam, could you just pull that up so we can like see the context of this?
Oh, the interim agenda
Yeah.
for,
It's just in the Constitution if you go to StudEx.
Okay.
Well, not the StudEx channel, the StudEx portion of the Constitution in Title 3.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so Students Assembly. Files. There we are.
Here.
Right, go further down to our summer break function. Yes, there. So as you can see in section 5 of our break procedures, all of this legislation, Senate Bill 1 through 4, was passed during our summer session. The interim agenda shall consist of all legislation that was enacted by the Student Executive Committee during the break period and will be considered at the first scheduled meeting of the Students' Assembly following that aforementioned break period. It shall be approved as a whole by a majority favorable vote. An objection to legislation on the interim agenda shall move it to the regular agenda. So this was placed through our legislative process to get the approval of rights, since it is a constitutional amendment, as well as another one of our councils, finance being the one for the first one, and then social justice, which passed all of it for the other 3. And so for this, I'm just looking to see like what StudEx's opinion is on the interim agenda, whether we should move the legislation to go forward at the Students' Assembly as it kind of would interpret here, or if we should just postpone that legislation to be reviewed until the second cycle to see if rights is going to approve or deny the legislation and see what happens there. As it stands right now, since it is interim agenda legislation, it would stay in effect through that point. Yeah.
So my question is for Camden, because this affects your committee, your council, right? How important is it for this to like go on the agenda for the first cycle, sorry?
Well, I think my understanding of the board thing is that it was all screwed up for like last 2 years because of COVID and finally getting it straightened out. I mean, I told everyone that we're gonna having these next cycle, like these elections, and there was, at least a reasonable amount of interest. I think we just need to do it. Rights had their chance to pass legislation. They screwed the pooch. That's on them. I don't think we should hold up the rest of our government agenda solely because of one committee's failure to get something done.
Follow up, because I don't really understand what happened with rights. Why couldn't rights pass legislation on Wednesday?
Rights had just essentially said that they didn't have enough time to review the legislation, and so they believed it was best to postpone that review of the legislation until cycle 2. It was a 5-1 vote by members. I mean,
Yeah, because I don't understand.
Okay, like we've been having issues with council leadership in rights, and the agenda was not posted at all until only, I think, like a few minutes before the council began. So the members of the council did not have a chance at all to review the agenda. And so then they tabled everything, which took them about 2 hours to only fix their issues with council leadership. So they spent like 2 hours just trying to elect a vice chair and then some DI fund board members.
I'll follow up.
sounds good.
So,
Definitely fulfilling some vice chair duties here.
so my question is, isn't that kind of like an impeachable thing to happen to not, or like, isn't that a problem that like the chair didn't do their job that they're paid for, I guess? It's just a question. I don't know.
I think that answer to that question is outside of the scope of this gathering of individuals first. And so I think that would have to go back to rights to discuss. But yeah.
Then I guess I'm gonna make something.
Yeah, you can.
My motion is gonna be that it gets put on the agenda for next week because it doesn't seem like it was finances failing. And I don't think that's really fair. So that's gonna be my motion. And
So the motion would be to put all of the interim agenda legislation onto like the table for our next meeting. And then just wait for Rights and Affairs to finalize its passage in cycle 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's already provisionally in effect. So whether we did this or not, it would have stayed in effect, but this is just going to be the procedure of when Students' Assembly gets to vote on it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the sort of whole scope of the interim agenda, that the legislation like will stay in effect until like the first scheduled meeting of the Students' Assembly. And Sadie?
What happens if rights votes it? What happens if rights votes it down? Like what would happen then usually? Would the whole thing vote hold up?
Unfortunately not, because like if rights didn't approve the constitutional amendment, then we wouldn't have like any leg to stand on for it.
Like you're saying,
It-
it's voted upon both in it, and then it could still be shut down and have to be like right. They could just not put it on the agenda next cycle.
I suppose.
But it's the same issue though, in which
Yeah.
Rights says no, after the finances appointed all the employee board members, and then you have to go to them like, hey, by the way, this job is doesn't exist anymore, sorry, I have to be back.
Yeah. I would say like too, like it could have effect on like when like the legislation is reviewed, because depending on like how much legislation we have in cycle 2, it could aid to keep like legislation simpler during cycle 1 and cycle 2.
I think I personally think that the students' assembly should have a say, because then that shows a committee, which apparently was only 6 people anyway, that majority of people are, whether they're in favor or not. And then if a committee of 6 people struck that down, that would be kind of not very democratic, I guess.
All right. So
Well, we motioned and seconded.
I guess, yeah, does the motion still stand? I mean,
Yeah,
that's on your end.
motion still stands.
Okay. Any opposition? Or that's your job, sorry.
Yeah, any opposition? Sorry, take it away. No, okay, no opposition, great, okay, that passes.
Okay, so should we now, I guess, proceed to, that wasn't like a pass thing, like now we need to just proceed to like motion to amend the agenda
Okay,
here.
cool, all right, motion to amend the agenda. Cool, all
Second.
right, any opposition? Great, okay.
All right, so we will add bills 1 through 4 to the Students' Assembly agenda before it is sent out to student senators this next Monday. Sound good for everyone? All right, is that the last item?
It's the last item. Okay, in that case,
Any announcements?
any announcements? Cool. Oh. Very cool.
There is a football game tonight at 7 p.m. This is our moment. This is our chance to begin the season on a dub, and I expect to see all of you there. So, hey, we're student senate. We got to show up and support. Okay, we represent the student body. That's all I have, including the football team. We vote in favor of them too. Okay, some of them are in our constituencies. Ditto.
Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Anyway. One day.
Second.
Second.
Thank you all.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
We should be. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, let me stop it right now.